The defensive side of the ball, I'm buying in that they are a tougher team, that they physically can do what they want. And man, I will go back to, Kevin, the play that I think a lot of people, it stands out as the best play from Sunday's game. Not the Tony Pollard play, but that's number 2 on my list for this. The first play is the sack, the strip sack for a touchdown for DeMarcus Lawrence. He picks it up and runs it in. Dorrance Armstrong gets the sack. Go watch how much the offensive line was committed to stopping Osa and Neville Gallimore on this play. As soon as the ball snapped, 3 guys all lined that way and start pushing on Osa and Neville Gallimore. The next thing you see is Dorrance Armstrong take advantage of the gap that's been opened up, and he knocks down Stafford, knocks the ball loose, and DeMarcus Lawrence takes off. The guys in the middle, Kevin, make this team a more physical and tougher team. That's where it starts. And then you got guys like Micah who are just like, you don't want to fight that guy. That's the dude where you're like, I'm going to go over here today. I don't want to fight him. He's never giving up. He's not going to loosen up. It's just going to be a brawl.
And you have to be tough to win at the line of scrimmage, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's your point right there, is they just won on the line of scrimmage. And I just thought
he's Donovan Wilson too. Sorry.
Yeah. Donovan Wilson will drop a hit on somebody. Absolutely. Is Micah said, we're for real. We're going to keep proving it every week. One thing I've learned about us is that we're tougher and we're better than we thought we were. That says a lot. And so I like the last part of that quote too. We're better than we thought we were. I know for some people that might sound dangerous, but it sounds like they had lower expectations, which is great. And they're now exceeding those expectations. And then Jerry talked about depth as helping with the toughness. And I wish that was a more direct answer, but I do think the depth helps with toughness as well.
The better than we thought that we were. I talked about this yesterday with DeMarcus Lawrence giving the sermon. When he gave that sermon, I really do believe that the defense was told by them, guys, or by DeMarcus at least, guys, we are better than we're acting right now. We shouldn't even give up a touchdown. We should be in their face, all day long. I believe that they're growing into that. Sometimes you have to learn that lesson. Sometimes you have to go through something and be like, look at this. We can do this. Maybe Dan Quinn even needed to realize I can just send these guys. I don't have to worry about it. I'm great in the secondary too. On the offensive side of the ball, Kevin, that specific, and this goes back to winning at the line of scrimmage. There were some really good blocks on that play specifically that led to that touchdown. That was really good blocking up front. And I thought bringing Peters in would be this is more physicality, a big body that can really hit somebody too. And unfortunately, he was out last week. And maybe McGovern's not great still, but there's some moments that he had where
he was better.
He was really good against Aaron Donald, and that shaped up to be a good matchup for the Cowboys this week. So, that group, and that always was the factor with the Travis Frederick and Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. What did you think about that offensive line when you saw them? I'm scared.
Tough and awesome.
Travis Frederick might be one of the nicest guys we've ever talked to. But when he's on the football field, he has a mean streak about him. And that's what these guys, when they get out there, they get competitive and strong, and it's a lot of fun to watch right now.
And I don't want to go too far down the line, so you still have a whole lot of ways to go. But one of the things that intrigues me about this is a lot of people said they weren't tough enough to win in the playoffs last year.
Mike and I were questioning the entire defense while we were out in Oxnard. Every time we interviewed somebody, Mike, that was one of your first questions. Was a lot of people said, Osa, Neville.
And he said it's up to me or it's up to us in the middle.
That was Neville first.
Okay, Neville.
And then we had Osa on later. But I thought that was great stuff by Mike whenever we were out there.
I asked the Texas Tech wide receiver, but he didn't have
the kicker. Vasher. Yeah, he didn't make the team, Kevin. That was unfortunate.
Y'all tried.
But yeah, no, that a lot of people said that, and that's why Mike kept asking the question going into camp. And what was the follow-up on that for you?
Say that one more time.
A lot of people were saying that this team wasn't tough.
Oh, yeah. And then immediately now it seems like they are tougher than anticipated. Micah thinks they're tougher than anticipated. Multiple people said that. And so you can't help but let your mind wander just a little bit. Will that toughness continue throughout the rest of the season and then into the playoffs? Because everybody will tell you this about the San Francisco game. It's like you got beat for a variety of reasons, but one of those reasons was you weren't tough enough. And so of all the reasons I would like to see us not lose in the playoffs, I don't want us to lose a game because they're like, we're soft.
From the 940, I don't think the Cowboys defense is tougher. I believe the Cowboys defense is more tuned into the details of Dan Quinn's defense in year 2. I think that's a huge factor. When Sean and RJ started as a show, they barely knew each other. And I'm sure that there were moments where they didn't have a clue what was like, I don't know what this guy's doing, if he's going left or right here. And this year, it does look like this defense understands that every one of those guys is back. They're back, and they understand what they're supposed to be doing in the defense. Now Wilson is trying to getting his opportunity to show what he can do. Hooker is, as Jerry pointed out this morning, he's further away from the Achilles injury and back to more what he was like whenever he was with the Colts. A lot of these guys are playing, I use the word fast because they don't have to think as much about what they're doing. They just go. Now, I did watch Anthony Barr because I heard Broadus yesterday talking about it, and I was like, I thought the Barr looked better in this defense. Barr still has some places to get to. There are moments where he's like looking around and guessing where he's supposed to go, and I can't get that. But everybody else on this defense, because A, Dan Quinn came back, and B, a lot of those guys are playing together again. That's a huge factor in keeping that group together.
Okay, for Barr, do you think that's still at least somewhat a byproduct of being newer to the defense as opposed to everybody else?
Not getting a camp, too.
Okay, do you have any concern, though, it's also just because he's slowing down?
Probably.
Maybe both.
Yeah. And I guess, where's Cox? I was expecting to see a lot more Cox out there this year, and there's not as much Cox as I thought there would be.
Okay, I thought you were making a regular
because he's a guy that can. No, he can cover.
The end.
Peters has been playing.
Yeah, Peters has been playing, but he can cover.
I see how I joined in.
He's got speed. So I'm wondering if they're just worried about the injury to Cox, or if there's something else that's going on. But I guess also you went and spent money on Barr.
You did.
So don't you want that guy that you spent money on playing football?
I mean, I just view it as you spent assets on him. You spent an asset on Jabril Cox as well.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm curious about how their thinking goes about that.
I want to go back to this real quick. The rest of the defense, and you heard a lot of the guys saying in the last few weeks, even and in camp, we're glad that Curse is back. We're glad that these guys are back because it's not introducing new faces to the defense. These are guys that are like, hey, we did something cool last year.
Yeah.
Let's do something special this year. And they are legitimately, Mike, I know they're not the Hot Boys, and I hope they don't go back to calling themselves the Hot Boys.
God, no.
Hot Boys here.
But
we got some Hot Boys.
They are
my short shorts.
They are playing like that kind of group where they all they like each other, they love each other, and they want to play for each other. So they can come up with their own name. And I hope nobody tries to call them the Doomsday, Doomsday 4 or whatever.
Okay. Are we on 4?
I don't know.
We're on 3.
Okay, but I hope that's not the thing because they can have their own thing, but they seem to really all love each other and they think very highly of their teammates. You hear Micah talk about Diggs. He nicknamed him the Eagle.
Yeah.
He talks so highly of his teammates, and a lot of these other guys are doing the same thing. It's because they all believe that they can do their job. That's why when Dak comes back, goes back to it. The leadership thing, man. Jerry even said it this morning, the leadership thing. He literally said that this morning.
Off the chart.
It is. But you also, you got to be able to make the throws. You got to be able to make the calls and see things. They need confidence in him, too. That whenever he walks into the huddle, if it's, hey, John Candy's over there, or, hey, we're going to march down the field and score a touchdown, whatever it is he needs to do, they got to believe in him at some point. And that's what the defense has right now, is they all believe in each other.